What is going on, guys? My name is Stuber, and I'm here to bring you my first look for this Week 3 main slate over on Draftkings.com. It's crazy. We are already at Week 3. But yeah, football season always seems to be like that. There's always so much anticipation, and it just makes the season go by super fast. Especially this year with everything going on, it just seems like this is the only thing good going on right now. Makes things go by a lot faster. But if you guys are new here, welcome. And if you guys are a returning subscriber, I really appreciate you guys coming back. If you guys want to enter my giveaway that I do every single week, I like to give back as much as I possibly can to you guys. If you guys want to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and then comment below with your favorite play of the week. I give away $25 via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, whatever it may be, whatever you guys want. I announce that winner every single Sunday over on Twitter at Taylor Stuber, so make sure to follow me over here to see if you guys won. I also give away some free betting picks, my cheat sheets, and whatever over there. I answer a lot of questions, as well as in my Discord. We have over 300 people in there. I've only been doing this for just over a month, and we are quickly growing. So if you guys want to join that Discord, it's completely free. It's in the description, as well as my Twitter. And I was looking at my analytics. About 45% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you guys are watching this video, I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe. It helps me do this for completely free. I have some big things in store, especially for the NBA Finals coming up. If you guys know me, I love basketball. But yeah, let's just jump right into this slate. We have two games up top that are standing out like no other, and that's the Seattle Seahawks and Cowboys game and as well as the Cardinals and Lions game. Both these team totals are just over 54.5 and 55.5 over-unders. So massive over-unders in both of these games. It leads to big team totals, especially for the Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, the Cowboys and Seahawks are going to be probably the chalkiest teams on this slate, and for good reasons, because their prices are not correct. They're a bit too cheap, and I think the Cardinals and Lions players are going to be a bit underowned, especially compared to the Cowboys and Seahawks. Those are some of my favorite GPP plays, but we'll just jump right into it. And if you guys stick around, if you guys want to pause and look at my cheat sheet right here, I'm going to be jumping back and forth from Draftkings and my cheat sheet. This is my preliminary cheat sheet. I will be posting my updated one either Friday or Saturday, and of course on Sunday morning on Twitter I post that final cheat sheet before. So make sure to follow me over there if you guys want to check that out. But we'll just go over here to DraftKings, kind of go through some of my favorite plays position by position, kind of make a bit of a lineup for the most part, just my general roster construction of what I'm doing this week in cash games and a bit of GPP. But we'll start at quarterback. So what I've been noticing so far this year is that rushing quarterbacks, more running backs or quarterbacks this year more than ever are rushing. And if you're picking a quarterback that's more of a pocket passer, that's not really rushing, you're really setting yourself at a big disadvantage, because if you can project some of these quarterbacks to rush for 30, 40 yards and a possibility for a touchdown, it's hard to make up that median projection week after week. So guys like Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Allen, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, notice how the top 5 quarterbacks all run the ball. Their prices are matching with it, but for good reason. And I think there's plenty enough value today, and not that many high priced players that I'm really all that interested in. So something that this is kind of rare for me. I'm going to be paying up for quarterback this week, especially in these matchups. We start at Russell Wilson up top, the most efficient quarterback in the league for a while now, honestly, and people are really catching on this year. I think people already knew for the most part, but these first 2 weeks have been unreal for Russell Wilson. His receivers on the same side, and Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf make for great plays in that 6K range, especially Tyler Lockett at 6.4K. I think he's entirely too cheap. I'm not going to be on Dak Prescott all that much. I think those 3 rushing touchdowns were a bit of an anomaly. He averages about 6 rushing touchdowns per year. So to get half of those in one game is quite the anomaly. But he should still be a pretty good play. But for $100 more, I prefer Russell Wilson. Josh Allen has played 2 cupcake matches the first 2 weeks. And while I do like him, I think I don't think he struggles against the Rams, but I don't think he's going to put up nearly what he has been doing the first couple weeks. And then my favorite play at the quarterback position is going to be Kyler Murray. He's running the ball pretty much at will, 13 and 8 times the first 2 weeks, 91 rushing yards and 67 rushing yards. It's crazy. Now, I don't think the touchdowns necessarily continue, but the rushing yards could stick, honestly. And against this porous Detroit Lions defense, and an implied team total of over 30 points, I'm going to love Kyler Murray today. Cam Newton, I think that they should handle this game pretty easily, I say. I mean, the Raiders just beat the Saints, but they're all coming off a tough game coming on a short week. So New England should be controlling this game, and that means that they're probably going to be playing pretty slow, which means Cam Newton's probably going to be running the ball a lot like he has been. It's crazy. It just seems like it's the Cam Newton of the past: 15 rush attempts, 11 rush attempts. I can see something similar to that first week in Miami where he gets in that 25-26 range, which is perfectly fine. I just slightly prefer Kyler Murray. And then if I'm paying down for anybody, it's probably going to be Mitchell Trubisky at 5,700 just because he gets an insanely good matchup against Atlanta. He's had his troubles through the first 2 weeks. He was pretty good week 1, but the best solution for bad quarterback play is facing the Atlanta Falcons. They should be playing behind, so it should be a pass-happy script for the Chicago Bears and Mitchell Trubisky. I love pairing him with Allen Robinson, who I think is going to be super low owned. I think that's one of my favorite GPP pairs is Trubisky and Allen Robinson is going to be super low owned, I think. And then we go over here to the running back position. Ezekiel Elliott is my favorite spend up spot, but in all honesty, I'm probably not going to be paying up for him. We'll see as the week progresses and as plays and injuries come out. But obviously, it's an amazing game situation to be in, even though that they are supposed to be trailing this game. If you look at the Vegas totals, he has been heavily involved in the passing game. Here, let me plug in some of these guys and we can go with the roster construction. So I don't mind him paying up, but I'm going to be more in that 6 to 7K range for running backs and wide receivers. Jonathan Taylor at 7,000. He rushed the ball 20 times in the first half, and I just absolutely love him this week. I mean, they're 10-point favorites against the New York Jets, who are pretty middle of the road teams in terms of rushing the ball, but the Indianapolis Colts offensive line is just so good that even though the Jets D-line is pretty solid, I think that Jonathan Taylor is going to rush the ball 20-25 times. I might not be the most efficient, but more times than not, when teams are 10-plus point favorites at home, the running backs get into the end zone more times than not. So I love Jonathan Taylor here at $7,000. I don't know how popular he's going to be. I think a lot of people might have some sticker shock on him just because he jumped pretty quickly up to the 7,000 range, but he's probably my second or third favorite running back on the slate. Absolutely love Jonathan Taylor. Austin Eckler is going to be pretty popular against a Carolina defense who just concedes so many fancy points to the running back position. The only downside is that Joshua Kelly is going to be involved in this game, and especially if they're leading the game. We saw when they were trying to salt the game away last week against the Chiefs, Joshua Kelly was just getting a ton of carries. Wasn't efficient on them like Austin Eckler was, but he was still out there getting carries, and Joshua Kelly does seem to have the goal line role as of right now. But if Herbert is out there and Tyrod Taylor continues to be out, Eckler has a better chance of being in the receiving game like he was last year. So I don't mind him at 6,800. I prefer Jonathan Taylor. Move down. James Conner, I think, is returning to that workhorse role that he was a couple years ago when Roethlisberger was healthy. Chris Carson's not too bad of a play. Should be leading their 5-point favorites against the Cowboys. It has been involved in the passing game, honestly, the last couple of games. He's got 9 targets. He's gathered all 9 of those. And so that's promising as well. But my favorite play on the slate, especially at the running back position, is going to be Miles Sanders. He had 20 carries last week. And the thing to note about that is they were getting absolutely stomped, and he still had 20 carries. So they want to get Miles Sanders going. They want to play through him. Carson Wentz has been struggling, but this is a good get-right spot for the Philadelphia Eagles against this poor Cincinnati defense. We saw what Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt did to them just last week, and I think that Miles Sanders could have another big game. He had 7 targets last week. Now, obviously, they were trailing, but he only brought in 3 of those, so I think moving forward that those targets are going to be a bit more efficient. But I do like Miles Sanders. He is a lock for me in cash and GPPs. He's going to be chalky, but in GPPs, I'm going to be playing him. I'll just get different elsewhere. You don't need to be completely different on these slates. You just need to make 2, 3, 4 plays that are super low owned. You don't have to get away from the chalk all completely. Move down to some of these other running back plays. Joshua Kelly, like I mentioned earlier, has been just rushing the ball like crazy. And if they're going to lead this game against this horrible defense, he got 23 carries. And he, like I said, he has the goal line role right now, as we saw in week 1. And he got all the rushes inside the 5 last week. So he's not too bad of a play, but the guy I really want to play in this range is Jerick McKinnon at 4,900. We know that Mostert is doubtful as of right now. I doubt he plays. Obviously, he's doubtful. And Tevin Coleman is already ruled out. So he should get the majority of the rushes. Now, the New York Giants are a better defensive line, a bit better against the rush than most teams, but he should also be involved in the passing game, as we saw just last week, or week 1 rather, where he had 5 targets, brought in 3 of them. One of the more efficient running backs in the league. 2 years ago he had an ACL injury. Last year he had a setback on it, so he hasn't played in 2 years, but he looked good in the few touches that he had. And at 4,900, he's going to be popular, but one of my favorite running back plays on the slate. Move over to the wide receiver position. If I'm going to be paying up for anyone on the slate, it's going to be Zeke, or it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins at 7,900. Leads the league with 25 targets. The favorite receiver for this Cardinals team and Kyler Murray, where they run by far the most plays in the league, and it's going to continue against the Detroit Lions. I think this game shoots out. And if you're going to pay up for receiver, it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins for me. But the most popular receivers are going to be the guys in the mid 6K range, and Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I'm probably going to be playing Cooper and Lockett just because I'm probably playing Kyler Murray at quarterback, so I want some of the receivers in this game. So I plug in Tyler Lockett, I plug in Amari Cooper. Both these guys lead their team in targets, and even a guy like DK Metcalf, where he was pretty much shadowed by Stephon Gilmore, one of the best cornerbacks, if not the best cornerback in the league, still managed to do very, very well. So he's more of a GPP play because I prefer Tyler Lockett. I think his targets are a bit safer, but I like those guys. Kenny Galladay, we know he took a big leap last year. Getting a lot better, and then this year he has not played yet, but he's fully expected to play this week. And if you're going to play Kyler Murray, and especially in tournaments, if you want to bring it back, especially if you're playing DeAndre Hopkins, you got to bring it back with somebody. My favorite guy is going to be Kenny Galladay. I think people are going to overlook him in his first game back, but I want to be ahead of the field before he starts doing really well and his price takes a jump up, because once things get really going for Matthew Stafford and this Lions offense, he's going to move up into that 7K range. And so we're going to look back and see that he was only 6,200 and we were silly for not playing him. Now, it's strictly only a GPP play just because he is coming off an injury, but I like him quite a bit. Two of the best value plays on the slate, especially at the wide receiver position, is going to be Deontay Johnson and CD Lamb. They've been getting way too many targets for 5.4K. We saw Deontay Johnson has pretty much resumed the number 1 passing role on this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Ben Roethlisberger looks like the Ben Roethlisberger of old. He leads his team with 23 targets so far. Looks better than Juju Smith-Schuster. This game is has sneaky shootout potential. And I think people are going to be scared off of him just because he did have a $900 increase from $4,500 to $5,400. But I think he's a super solid play. And the CD Lamb at 5,400 in the same game as Amari Cooper in the best game environment of the slate. He's second on the team in targets, just behind Amari Cooper. Over 90% of his snaps and routes are in the slot. And we saw just last week that Julian Edelman, who's infinitely slower than CD Lamb and infinitely less athletic at this stage of his career, put up 178 yards exclusively in the slot against the same Seattle team. So at 5,400, I like him quite a bit. Excuse me. We move down here to N'Keal Harry at 4,200. One of the better plays on the slate if you really want to get down here. One of the favorite, he's probably the second favorite receiver for Cam Newton. It depends on how the game flow goes. He's a secondary play for me. I don't really want to play him in cash games. I think he's fine in GPPs, but at 4,200, it's hard not to like him. And then down here, one of the plays that really opens up everything. I'm skeptical on playing him in cash games because he could really just drop you like 2-3 points. I mean, he could drop a 0 for all we know. But at 3,000, KJ Hamler. Cortland Sutton is out for the year. We saw early last week Drew Lock went out. Jeff Driscoll came in, was in a pass-happy script, and KJ Hamler tied the team in targets at 7. Tied him with a rookie Jerry Jeudy, who's about $5,000 now. So you get a $2,000 discount. Obviously, the talent is not the same as Jerry Jeudy, but it looked like he had a connection with Jeff Driscoll, and if he puts up anything close to this, if he puts up 3 receptions for 48 yards and gives you 8.7 points, he opens up so much for you everywhere else that it's something I'd be really interested in. I haven't decided if I'm going to play him in cash or not, but in GPPs for sure, I like him. And then we look over here at the tight end position. I think Darren Waller, if the prices came out after his Monday night explosion game against the New Orleans Saints, he would be a lot more expensive. So we're getting kind of a discount on him right here. I don't mind him, but I do like Hunter Henry. He's one of my favorite tight ends on the slate at 4,800. He has 8 receptions each of the last 2 weeks. And like I said, I hope Herbert starts this week just because they're a bit pass happier. And I think they're just a better offense overall. They play a lot faster with Herbert rather than Tyrod Taylor. I don't mind him at 4,800, but I think the more times than not, I'm going to be getting to guys like Logan Thomas at 3,700, who's second on this team in targets just behind Terry McLaurin. They should be trailing this game. Cleveland has just been conceding. They just conceded a ton of receptions and yards to CJ Uzomah and Drew Sample, who I'll talk about in a second. Last week. So Logan Thomas, I don't mind him at all. As we see, I don't really look at stuff like this, but Cleveland has been a funnel for tight ends so far this year. And I think it continues, especially with them playing from behind and some extra passes going around. And then Drew Sample at 3,500 against his Philadelphia team, who just allowed 3 touchdowns to Tyler Higbee. CJ Uzomah left in the middle of this game, and he got 9 targets after that. Obviously, Joe Burrow passed over 60 times. Now, I don't think that necessarily happens. It could. Like, they're about touchdown dogs to the Philadelphia Eagles, so it's going to be a pass-happy game script for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think if he can get 6 or 7 targets, bring down 3, 4, 5 of them, he's going to pay off this 3,500 price tag and should be used in the red zone as well. And then we go over to defenses. I don't really care who you play at defense. Just make sure it's not against your own guys. I always try to play the cheapest defense I can that makes even some sense. Like even with the Panthers defense at 2,200 is probably going to be my highest owned defense. Especially if Herbert is starting, because while Herbert does make the offense better, he is a rookie and he made some mistakes last week. And if those mistakes turn into interceptions, strip sacks, return those for a touchdown, they pay off the price tag pretty easily. And even if they drop 3-4 points, it doesn't make that much of a difference on your team because defenses are relatively random when it comes to like touchdowns and things like that. So I don't mind them if I'm paying up for a defense. I don't mind the Giants as well because that San Francisco team is pretty depleted right now. But this is a general build I'm going with right now. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask me over on Twitter at Taylor Stuber or join the Discord. That's probably the best way to get an answer from me. The links are all in the description. And really, guys, if you guys like this video, it really helps me out if you can like this video, subscribe, and then if you want to enter that contest, might as well just throw in a comment there who your favorite play of the week is, and you might win $25. I'll select that winner Sunday. And like I mentioned earlier, if I will have my final video out probably Friday or Saturday with my final thoughts, and then on Sunday morning I will be dropping my final cheat sheet over on Twitter, just like this, except it will be finalized with all the injuries and new notes coming out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys come back for my other videos as well. And until next time, peace.